Exactly, what is forest bathing and why does it differ from just walking into the forest? What are the medical benefits of this?
Overall, it's going to help with depression and anxiety. There have been some studies that show ADHD.
So how do you see that in the future of medicine? You talk about the benefits of that from a medicine perspective, like smelling trees kills cancer.
The immersive experience, the meditation, the lower blood pressure, the improved depression and anxiety,
Yeah, the
and
ability to be
cortisol.
present versus being distracted. I think that's such a powerful thing. Because how do you forest bathe?
With a little help and a little wealth and a lot of love, that's a life that we live, suits and scrubs.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Suits and Scrubs. We talk about a little bit of health,
A little bit of wealth.
and a lot of love. All right. So I'm joined by my beautiful wife. She looks great in this blue. We got this in Hawaii, didn't we?
We did.
We did. I love it. I love it. She is a gut hormone and weight loss doctor. Fun fact about Emily, we got this in Hawaii. She will help you heal from the inside out.
And I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Zachary, SVP, who will help you retire before you're 40. And he is donning one of his lumberjack looks again today.
It might be just my look.
I think he has a pair of suspenders that matches just about everything at this point.
That I do. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like the longer my beard gets, the more like lumberjacky. I'm in my lumberjack era. I'm like stepping into that a little bit.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, she loves the beards.
I'm here for it.
I never grow my mustache out, but it's kind of working. Anyway, so you guys are here to learn about forest bathing. Now, I know what you think. All right, this is for our crunchy community. We have a big crunchy community following, which we absolutely love. We're actually almost crunchy ourselves. Guess what, crunchies? We grounded. Did we ground today?
We didn't today.
Oh, we didn't do it today. All right, we try to ground every single day. We are removing endocrine disruptors from our everyday life. So, no, seriously, we are getting more and more crunchy as time goes on. And I'm here for it. So this is for you guys. Forest bathing. Yes, a little bit hokey, but honestly, if you guys stick around, especially towards the end, we'll talk more about the medical benefits of forest bathing. All right, so the first segment we have here. Refactions. By the way, before I do this, one of my absolute favorite creators / influencers, I love her. So if she's watching, like, she liked my comment the other day. I about freaked out because I love her so much. She's so hilarious. And so she represents the crunchy community very, very well. Anyway, we're going to play this clip.
I think Zach might be crunchier than I am.
Today we're bathing. No. Keep your clothes on, buddy. I meant forest bathing.
That's it. That's all it is. But it's all right. So react to it.
Forest bathing it's becoming more, I would say, more mainstream, maybe. I think it started honestly in Japan in the 80s, and it just has started to catch on because we are becoming, I think, as a country, a little bit more crunchy and a little bit more granola. And so we will have a brief episode today where we talk a little bit more about forest bathing and the potential benefits. Talk a little bit more specifics about both the physical and the mental benefits that you can get from forest bathing, and just give a little bit more of the background on what it actually is.
Yeah. So your reaction is, yes, it's a real thing. Forest bathing is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
All right. So our next segment is Under the Microscope.
Under the microscope.
So tell us where'd it come from? You hinted at it, but you didn't get all the way there.
So forest bathing in Japan is known as shinrin-yoku, and I apologize if I completely butchered that name.
Yeah, if that's not right, let us know in the comments.
But it's not just a mentality of being out in nature or hiking or just getting in the outdoors. It's more of an immersive experience where you immerse your 5 senses in nature. And there's a cultural, a spiritual aspect of it to where you completely kind of surrender yourself to to the forest, to nature. So it's not just hiking outdoors or going on a walk outside. It's a completely different experience.
I guess we'll talk more about this five senses a little bit later, but I appreciate you sharing that, where the heritage of that is. Okay. So explain exactly what is forest bathing and why does it differ from just walking into the forest?
So we kind of touched on that. It involves more mindfulness and using the five senses. And so
So let's go through the five senses just in case, because like I know a few of them, but
So touch.
You touch the forest?
You can touch the forest. Sight.
We see the forest.
You can see the forest. You can hear the forest.
Here, definitely.
You can taste the forest.
You can taste the forest?
Yes, you can.
Like, do you like lick a tree or something?
I mean,
how did the Japanese do it?
I don't know specifically, honey.
Maybe
you can taste the.
Maybe you open your mouth and run around and like visual of that. Okay, if y'all know, let us know. And then
what did I miss?
Feel, touch,
taste, sight, smell. Did I say smell?
No, smell makes sense. Okay. Okay. All right. So 5 senses.
So that you're getting into the specifics here, but it's more meant to say 5 senses in that it's an immersive experience. It's I think a practice of mindfulness. And so it's more of an individual experience versus if you're like going on a walk with the ladies in the neighborhood where you're chatting about things. That's not really exactly forest bathing, even if you're walking outside or even walking technically on walking trails or in the forest. This is supposed to be more of an immersive experience.
So it sounds to me, it's almost like a form of meditation, like being present with nature. There's some power in that, I believe. So I think that's probably where the benefits come from.
I think there's some power in mindfulness just in general, and not even necessarily being out in nature. I think it has its different set of potential benefits, but if you're able to, I think it's hard for us in the US to actually show mindfulness or be able to meditate without our minds wandering off in other directions.
Right.
But there are a lot of benefits to just mindfulness in general.
Yeah. So now as you're moving into being more of a alternative doctor, a integrative doctor, a functional medicine doctor, all three of those are so damn controversial.
I'm just one of a kind.
You're just one of a kind.
Yes.
But like as you get more into that, so what are the medical benefits of this?
They actually, surprisingly, because like whenever I do episodes, I try to look at the actual journal articles on these different, I wouldn't say fads, but these different.
May I tell the people?
Tell the people what?
All right, guys. Every episode, we do about 4 to 10 hours of research, of scripting and reviewing critical information, or we have knowledge of skill sets, things that we have in our past, based upon our interests and things like that. So we don't just slap these together willy-nilly, right? We don't.
We try to.
Yeah, we have a whole script on the screen.
Inform.
Yeah, we do. And if you guys are watching us on YouTube and we look up or looking on screen, but I just want to just say that we do a lot of research on these. And so yeah, you want to just give like what the studies say?
So they do show that there's, I think, a divide in different benefits. And so you can talk about the physiologic benefits. And so lower blood pressure, lowering of heart rate, lowering of your cortisol level. There's some mentioning of decreased perception of pain, whether you would consider that as a physiologic or more of a psychologic or psychologic benefit. But I would say those are the biggest. And then the respiratory or the pulmonary benefits. So if you are exposed, if you're out in nature and you're consistently exposed to specific allergens, then potentially it can kind of habituate your response if you're the type of person who has allergies or more of the allergic responses to certain plants.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there really are some medical benefits to this based upon the studies that you researched.
Yeah, and whether that's, I think a lot of it comes from just the mindfulness side of things, actually separating yourself from the stressors of the world, being able to to meditate, but there's also this idea that also there's a specific impact on your immune system as well. So actually breathing in certain chemicals that trees emit or essential oils can actually modulate your immune system. And so there have been some studies to show that it can increase the activity of your natural killer cells, which it's a type of one of your white blood cells. So your infection fighting inflammatory cells. And those natural killer cells help to fight viruses, to fight bacterial infections. They also can help kill cancer cells. And so they really actually have shown that by breathing in these certain chemicals that trees emit in the forest, you are improving your immune system.
Jeez. I did not know that. I was today years old when I learned about smelling trees could kill cancer.
I mean,
ultimately.
have you not experienced being out? Remember, and I did not wear this on purpose, but I think one of our best hiking or nature experiences when we were in Hawaii for our 1-year wedding anniversary. And I love to hike. I love to be out in nature. I love to be in the mountains. It was why I decided to move to North Carolina in the first place. And I would say that hiking experience was probably one of the most unique, one of the best experiences. And you can breathe
easily.
I wouldn't even say like the smell of pine trees, but you can smell the essential oils. You can smell.
I almost feel like when you go to like the mountains, when you go to like, when we went to Hawaii, like the air is like honey. Like to me, it's like very sweet smelling. It's weird. Like I've always said that, every time I travel, and you guys know I'm a world traveler. I love experiences. I don't necessarily love hiking. And so this is kind of a rub for us because I love to exercise, no doubt about it. But
you are a man on a mission. That's where we differ. I personally, and this is how people, I guess, re-energize. And that's part of my introversion is that when I'm alone, when I'm out hiking, and it's not even necessarily when I'm out in the mountains or in the forest, but even during the COVID pandemic, we used to live next to this old cemetery that was overgrown with trees, and
beautiful.
It was hundreds of years old, really.
Sure. And you walk across, and there's a creek, and
and that to me was so peaceful. That was how I re-energized, and I think a lot of introverts probably feel the same way, whereas extroverts may be re-energized by being around people.
Right. I'm an omnivert, which a lot of people have issues with that because I am so extroverted. Like there's moments where I just like, this because when we were at your parents' house, God love them.
And they know this too.
Yeah. And so
they're well aware.
Like I love my parents. If you're watching, I love you guys, but I don't want to be around them for, longer than 48 hours or anyone really. And so when we see your parents, and we don't see them that often, like once or twice, 3 times a year, maybe. So it's longer periods of time. I have a 48-hour window and I'm off. You got to leave me alone. I'm there. I'm digressing, but this is an important part of just who I make up. But the reason why we're talking about this is why the hell, as a gut hormone weight loss doctor, do you want to talk about forest bathing on today's episode?
Well, I think there are a lot of aspects of forest bathing that are important for not only your gut microbiome. I think exposure to the forest and the microbiome of the forest probably
that's interesting.
Improves your microbiome in general. But this is not a parasite episode. Don't drink the water in the forest.
Yeah.
Because
we did do an episode on that.
That might give you giardia.
Yeah. And all of our episodes calm down. So if we're saying gut microbiome, you don't know what that is, or if you're saying that, like watch our other episodes. And it goes deeper into this. And knowledge is power. And again, I don't know anyone who knows this stuff better. So all this stuff kind of compounds.
It does. And I think the other benefit, so it's not just the exercise, it's not just the physical activity of walking that gives you benefits when you're forest bathing. It's the calmness of it. It's the decrease in cortisol. And with weight management, if you're trying to lose weight, it's not just about, and this is controversial, but I truly believe it's not just about calories in, calories out. It's not just about counting how many steps you take a day and how many calories you take in. It's about all of the other things. It's about managing your stress. And stress is such a huge part of it. If you are working a very stressful job, 12-hour shifts, I think especially our nurses out there, people, shift workers, it is so hard to manage that cortisol level to help you sustain a healthy weight, to help you lose weight. And if you're finding time to get out and meditate and be mindful, that really is going to be a huge step towards just being healthy overall. It's going to help with depression and anxiety. There have been some studies that show ADHD, so improvements
Like
in ADHD for people who
ADD and ADHD, both. I'm manic too.
Who forest bathe. So it's not just the physical benefits; it's the psychological benefits, which I think a lot of us can feel if we're out in nature and if we're mindful in nature.
Yeah. So our big two communities, like we have the crunchy community, which I'm sure is loving this or eating this up, because all the medical benefits, based upon the research that you've done and being a doctor, right? You're saying get into the forest bathe. Yeah. And there are other community.
And rub some dirt on it. I think if you're out in dirt, it's better for your microbiome. I think we are too sterile nowadays. We avoid germs at all costs. And that's part of the reason why we have so many allergies and autoimmune issues, is that our immune systems just aren't primed to know what to do whenever we're exposed to different allergens.
All right. Well, walk me through a journey. So obviously you can't do this in a daily routine. You can maybe do it on your weekly or monthly routine. How do you forest bathe?
So I think first of all, you have to.
Should I close my eyes and do it? No. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do something a little weird? Why don't we close our eyes? Why don't you talk us through everything and walk us through all that?
Are we having a psychedelic episode?
I'm serious. Why not? All right, I'm closing my eyes.
Okay, close your eyes. I'll walk you through it. Okay. And this is kind of, I guess, my experience with hiking in general, because
tell the viewers.
To me, this is what I experience, because there were times during the COVID pandemic where I was in and out of the hospital. Zach was at the house and going stir crazy at the house. And obviously the gyms were closed and
that's why I gained 65 pounds.
But for me, there was a day where I was just like, I just need to drive to the Blue Ridge Parkway. And I just
Which is how far away?
From us, probably an hour and a half, maybe. Right. And then I just found.
All right, let's close our eyes. Let's do it. All right, so we're in Blue. All right, we drive. We're at the Blue Ridge Parkway. Teach me how to forest bathe.
So I don't know, parked at the parking lot. I do research and I found a hiking trail, and you park in the parking lot and you just disconnect. To me, it's safest.
No. Like, walk me through the whole experience now. Okay. So you get out your car.
You get out of your car.
Okay.
And you walk towards the trail.
Okay. What are you seeing?
And you see nature. I'm by myself.
What kind of nature? Is it green?
I mean, when you're walking to the trail, you see a bunch of other cars parked and maybe some other.
Okay, fast forward.
And then you get to the trail, and then it's more peaceful, and
tell me about that.
You hear nature. You hear.
What do you hear?
Birds chirping, maybe different insects. All
right, so take me on. Like, what sounds are they making?
You hear the branches crackling under your feet, and you smell the smell of the forest, and you not only hear the branches crackling, but maybe you hear other hikers in the distance. And I can't say that there's a specific taste that I would taste. I'm trying to think of all the five senses.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not tasting anything. I'm hearing everything. All right. What am I like? Slow down. Be slow tree.
And then you feel.
Wait a minute. Slow down. Slow tree. What am I smelling?
You're smelling the earth. And then maybe if we're in the fall, you're feeling the leaves fall around you.
Leaves.
Do you feel like your cortisol is lowering right now?
I do, actually. I actually feel myself walking through the forest, feeling the leaves crunch underneath my feet.
And there's something about it
Hearing
too.
the wind rustle through the trees, feeling the sun beat on my face in every single opening from the forest, hearing the birds chirp. smelling the sweet honey air. And you just hear the trees, the winds going by, going.
I didn't know this was a Bob Ross episode of Susan Scrubs.
Oh, wow. That's just nice. I totally do that on camera. I don't give a shit. I totally did that on camera. I felt good about that.
And meditate.
Wow. I was really there.
Now, I mean, that's when I feel closest to God. I feel like that's the other thing is it's not just a physical experience, but a spiritual experience for a lot of people, if that's how they disconnect. And it's a good time to keep your phone. I wouldn't necessarily keep your phone off. I mean, I try to be safe if I go hiking by myself. I have my phone and my mace and everything with me, but it's when you're hiking, you typically don't have phone signal a lot of times. And so it's a nice time to disconnect and be away from work and be away from social media. Yeah.
I think that is, I think there's a beauty in that. And I actually do feel so much more relaxed. I really felt like I was at the forest. And you guys watching on YouTube, you guys watching on or listening on our podcast, you guys probably think we're a bunch of hokey fokies. But at the end of the day, like there's a beauty in that, you know, get into nature, you talk about the benefits of that from a medicine perspective, like smelling trees kills cancer. That's probably the title of this episode. No, I'm serious. I think I did not know that. All right. So this is a little bit lighter episode. I think we hit on so much heavier ones in the past. So what role do you see forest bathing in the future of medicine? You know, as people getting more and more, you know, blue lights, you know, like right now we have a bunch of blue lights on us. Yes, crunchies, like we haven't gotten all the way there, you know, and I know we're supposed to wear our blue light glasses. That'd be kind of weird, you know, on the episode. But I would say this, you know, as we live by our phones, live by our TVs, live by our computers, all of that, getting into nature, it's such a primal feeling and being. So how do you see that in the future of medicine?
I mean, I think even sitting there, you realize that even the mindfulness, the meditation can be so effective. But I think there is a lot to be said about exposing yourself to different plants and allergens, especially from a young age. I mean, we laugh about crunchy moms, not necessarily laugh about. I mean, we're going to be probably those nature grounding.
Listen, we're doing a whole episode on forest bathing, too. And you're a doctor here, so I mean, we got into crunchy status.
Did we not? We grew up running around outside and playing until
your mama locks you in. You want water? Get water outside out the hose, which is a Southern thing.
But I mean, I the bottom of my feet used to be so calloused from running.
I'll say Walmart feet.
Running around barefoot outside, and you would come home. You would love the summertime because it would get dark at 8 or 8:30, and you wouldn't come home until it got dark out. And so that I feel like that trend has changed where kids are inside all the time and they're playing video games and they're not exposed to the outdoors and they're have more allergies and we see such an increased incidence in autoimmune conditions. I think our immune systems need to be primed. And as we can see from some of those studies, just breathing in those essential oils can help with our immune system and immune modulation. And so I think that's something to be said about actually being out in nature, and then just the immersive experience, the meditation, the lower blood pressure, the improved depression and anxiety,
the
and
ability to be
cortisol.
Present versus being distracted. I think that's such a powerful thing because, we're working on being parents, and so I don't want to. It's hard to I always say this, we should never give advice if we're not parents. We're not parents, but I feel like that as we become parents, that is something that we both, are working on. And, we will say that there will be some times where the child will self-soothe or not giving in to instant gratification, but I'll probably succumb to distractions, like putting an iPhone or iPad. A lot of our friends
putting on a Disney movie.
Exactly. There's a lot of
ain't nothing
our
wrong
friends,
with that. We're just surviving out there.
Right. They're just surviving out there. It's hard. It's hard out in these streets. And so, I appreciate, you sharing This is such an interesting topic for me. I know it's a shorter episode, but it's so interesting that the medical benefits of forest bathing and why we're spending time talking about that on today's episode. So, Emily, take a stand.
I'm all for forest bathing.
Let's do it.
We know I'm the hiker. I love to hike, and honestly, I told Zach, I was like, I would much rather be forest bathing right now than
talking about it
on
the podcast.
The podcast.
This is your reminder to get out there and do it.
I'm ready. Let's go. I think we need to go to Boone or Asheville.
Yeah.
Next weekend, and
we could probably go tomorrow. If you honestly, I'd be down. Maybe just
do some forest bathing.
Yeah, I'm serious. Maybe we just pack a bag.
It's the time for it.
And then just pack an alternative bag and just change. Maybe have a nice dinner. We had that gift card in there. We're on a budget, so we're on a major budget. Actually, we're trying to get into one income because we want to do this full time.
Stay tuned for the next wealth episode.
Right. All right. Well, guys, this is a little bit lighter one for you today. So thank you so much for tuning in. So little health,
little wealth,
and a lot of love. Until next time. Bye.
He's on the hustle, she's on the grind. There's no time to kill. We're saving lives and new deadlines, and there's some holes to fill. With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love. That's a life that we live. Suits and scrubs.